Chris, have you personally bought property from overseas, and how was that experience for you?
So yes, I purchased property overseas. I was living in Singapore previously and looking to buy a property here in beautiful Sydney, initially as an investment property and then move into myself a few years later on with the family. However, even though I was engaged or liaising with the buyer's agent initially, I just couldn't get in my head around the cost of all of that and what they could do. I felt like I could do all of it. And lo and behold, I ended up flying in and out of Sydney twice from Singapore with no success at auctions twice. So I think about that, 2 airfares, 2 sets of stress, accommodation, car hire. So I ended up buying the third property, sight unseen. Now, great investment property, no issues there at all, really good yield, and likely produce strong capital growth. But once I moved into the property a few years later, I'm not a small man, so about 6'2", and the roof was only a little bit higher than myself. So felt a bit compacted, and definitely, it was one of those ones, a bit of a buyer's regret, and wish I'd listened to the buyer's agent originally, or engaged them.
Overseas, take us through that experience a bit further, and how did that shape your approach to assisting others?
So from my own experience of buying when living overseas, it's really helped me deal with clients in the same position, whether they are in Singapore or Dubai, UK, or anywhere in the world. My appreciation for understanding the complexity of that purchase when you're buying remote. So not only knowing the suburbs, locations, what you can get bang for buck, so to speak, but also really understanding logistics of how to get in and out, the due diligence, how to get a level of comfort. One of the things I do is a complete walkthrough of any property we're interested in. And I really do point out the things that are great about the positive, but equally things that aren't. If that height's not right, if I see some wear and tear, if I think one of the bedrooms is too small, I'm going to call it. If I feel it, call it. And really helping this, but when they're overseas, have a lot of comfort when it comes to buying.
Absolutely, which of course is where your experience comes into play. What are the common inquiries and concerns raised by overseas buyers in the real estate market that you?
The common inquiries I get from overseas buyers is usually around what the process is. There's different markets around the world that operate in very different ways. Even in Australia, the way Sydney operates is not the same way that Brisbane or Perth or definitely rural areas transacting property. So a lot of what I'm doing initially is giving them information around how to close a deal, how agents will operate, guide prices, things like 66Ws, to give them a lot of comfort around what this process and what it's going to look like for them. Quite often saving them months, if not a year or so, when looking to buy, because they know what they're going to need to do to make it happen.
On to the next one. Yeah, Chris, with your share with us your strategies for helping overseas buyers qualify a property remotely.
So to help
shed some light,
our clients when they're looking to buy from overseas, there's so many different areas. One is local knowledge. We only buy here in Sydney, so we really know it inside and out. There's also all sorts of data points. There's things like core logic where you can ascertain a bit more data than what's available for the general public. But we also have access to demographics. We even go down to things like due diligence on looking at current development applications in local council areas. Either from a positive standpoint, maybe there's a new freeway, new parklands, or an update in gentrification happening in the area. Equally though, there might be an apartment building that's going to come up in the next few years, or there could be the property next door is going to go up and reduce some of that shadowing. So we try and take care of everything that anyone can think of when buying, and even things they can't even think of, so that when it comes to buying, they can have some confidence to do so.
Yeah, and it's that scrutiny, having someone who can actually actively, make those decisions and have a look at those, the experts, that can make all the difference for such an emotional decision. Can you shed some light, Chris, on the trends and the types of clients that you're typically assisting in purchasing property?
So when I'm assisting clients who are living abroad, usually breaking down 2 buckets. There's the Australians who are living overseas and looking to come back. So quite often they know the areas. They might have been out of living overseas for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. But overall they know about, but they're just not here to be able to transact. So it's about giving them a level of confidence and detail in the market that we're in now to help them facilitate that purchase. Equally, the other buyers who have never lived in Australia or potentially just looking at it as an investment opportunity, and we sort of have to take a step back and really understand what their goals are in this purchase, whether they're family goals or whether they're investment goals, and really break those down to understand exactly where we can be of assistance from there.